What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Today we're talking about PlayStation 5 Pro and the price of this thing. I know a lot of people are very unhappy with the price of this device. Believe it or not, it's not my fault for those people who criticize me in the comments. I didn't make the device and I certainly didn't price it or anything like that. I'm not clever enough to do any of this stuff. So I just want to talk about the price, and I think one of the reasons that this is actually an issue is because of the damn Xbox Series S. No, I'm joking, but I do think that Xbox, coming out very early this generation, well, at release, saying they're not doing a Pro model because the Series X is their Pro model and the Series S is their base model, has very, very clearly told Sony, well, we can kind of price this thing at market price and make a decent margin on this thing, because if you look at like PC components, it comes up very close to that £700 mark, at least here in the UK. PCs often are slightly above that. It's normally about 100 more on average, maybe slightly more in certain cases depending on what deals you can get, but actually it's very, very close. They've kind of added this big GPU to PS5 and this 2TB SSD, and obviously increased various different aspects of the GPU in general, with features like RDNA 4 stuff that's not even actually available on PC graphics cards yet. So it's very hard to get an exact comparison to a PC GPU because those don't actually exist right now with certain ray tracing and RDNA 4 features. So it's very hard to gather a price, but in most cases PC is going to be slightly more expensive than console. That's just the way it goes. But I do think that Sony, if we were to have a mid-gen refresh from Microsoft, we would absolutely have seen the price of this thing probably driven down quite a bit more. And this is what we're going to see if Microsoft does eventually exit the console space, which I really hope they don't. Obviously, it's a rumor at the moment, but it's by no means guaranteed. But at some point, if Microsoft does exit this console space, or the sales for the Xboxes get so low that no one's buying them, they will eventually stop manufacturing them, right? Now, that might not be the next generation. Who knows? We're hearing that we're going to have a potential next generation Xbox in 2026, which would be before the PlayStation 6. PlayStation 6 headed to be around 2028. But obviously, after that generation, if we are no longer going to see an Xbox because all their games are coming to PlayStation, and the incentive to go out and buy a Series or whatever the Xbox is going to be called next, we're not going to see many sales of that device, and that's going to bring the price up for the competitor if they've got no one to go against. Obviously, you've got Nintendo, but they're a very, very different device, right? People never just own a Switch if they are big gaming fans. They'll own a Switch and a PlayStation, or a Switch and a PC, or a Switch and an Xbox, or whatever. So at the end of the day, they're not kind of a direct competitor in the same way. They do compete for time. I agree with that statement. They absolutely do compete for time. But at the end of the day, most people want the big AAA games. And right now, the current Switch is not doing that. The next gen Switch, I think, will do that for a while. People thinking that this thing is going to be running like 2028 PS, because obviously the Switch 2 will be around for probably 8 years, like the Switch 1 would have been by the time it launches. If we do that again 8 years, you're going to be going into PS6 generation. Now, you're not going to be getting AAA games on the Switch 2 going into the PS6 generation. I don't care what this thing has inside of it. It's just not happening. So in the same way, they're not a direct competitor, but Xbox, if they just decide to exit the market because they're not selling or whatever, and no one else, like Samsung or something, doesn't make a console or whatever, which I would actually love to see Apple and Samsung start doing the console space, because Sony needs competition. You are going to continuously see the price of these things going up and up and up if there's no competition in the market. Sony can just rest on their laurels right now. They're not releasing many games, which is disappointing, but you know, they don't really need to right now because they're selling units like crazy. Things are selling out already. The PS5 Pro that apparently no one's going to buy because it's too expensive, the disk drives are selling out right now for those things, because people are already wanting to get disk drives ready so that when they get their pre-order in and they get them day one, they've already got a disk drive to play their massive libraries. Good for people doing that, because they're going to need to. So in the end of the day, if there's no competition, we're going to see game prices go up from Sony's first parties. We're going to see console prices continue to increase because there's no one else in the market doing what they do. Now, they have to be careful with PC, because obviously people are just going to go to PC. If these things get too expensive, still with PS5 Pro, it's very difficult, as I said, to build a PC for that price. And then obviously it's still a PC, so you've got other issues you can experience. So again, the consoles tend to to punch above their weight because they're optimized specifically for that hardware. We're yet to see stuff like PSSR. There's a lot of technology going into this thing that isn't even available on the PC right now. So there's a reason for the price where it is at the moment, but going into PS6, if we're going to continue this increase in price, we're at some point going to get to the point where potentially PCs are going to be the same price as consoles, and that's where we're going to have a problem, because a lot of people at that point will just go out and buy a PC over a console, especially if they don't know the issues with PC like I've experienced. Personally, I'm not a PC guy, and lots of you guys will know that just because of the issues I had with my PC. It got very frustrating, so I decided to just get rid of that, and I've gone to PlayStation full time. It's personally what I enjoy more. That's just how it is. So it's not a big deal, but it's just what I personally do. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think about this. Are you concerned about this kind of stuff? Because I just think a lack of competition is going to be a problem for all of us as the consumer. Not having these products competing for a price point is going to be a problem. Like, you remember the start of this generation, we were like waiting for Microsoft and Sony to both release the price. It was like the last thing we heard. We had every other bit of detail down to every component in these things, but yet we did not have a price and what it was going to be at. Like, we had no idea, and it was like they were playing a game of just like, see who can wait the longest before their release date to reveal the price. And eventually we got both, and it was set exactly the same price. Some people were speculating Xbox were going to undercut Sony even more, even though their product's more expensive to manufacture. And if you imagine that with no Xbox, Sony's just going to be like, well, we can charge whatever the hell we want because people are going to need to buy it because they want a console. Xbox isn't around anymore. Like, I don't know. I just personally think it's going to be a problem if we have no competition in this market space at the same way that Sony competes in, right? They compete in the high-end console market, not the Nintendo. As I've explained, they are a different market competing for time, but they're a very, very different system. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. Please do tell me, because I do read the comments, and you guys, I'm always interested to hear your opinions. I want to also quickly add at the end of this video, I am actually live streaming a lot more often now. In fact, an hour after this video goes up, I will be live. So if you guys want to come watch, we're playing games like Astrobot, and we're going to be doing Lies of P a bit more as well. It was a great live stream yesterday. We had lots of people joining, and it was really good to interact with you guys. So if you want to join that, please do consider coming by. And yeah, I'll see you in future videos, guys. Thank you very much for watching, as always. Bye bye for now.